Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's live stream, which is a question time. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay, everything's come through nice and clear. If it isn't, just let me know in chat and I'll try and fix it on the fly as we are live. And hopefully the camera will stay okay. It's a bit I'm still working out some kinks with the technical side of things. I've just noticed I'm slightly off camera there. I'll move over there. Welcome to Question Time. If this is your first time here, welcome. Tonight is a chance for you to ask me anything you like about game development, Unreal Engine 4, and we'll try and answer whatever and however many questions we can within the next hour or so, okay? Just like waiting for Unreal to load up. Whilst we're waiting for it to load up, if you want to have any private sessions, hire me for any private work or anything like that, I'm available for the month of May. April is pretty much full now. Well, it is full. But May has some slots available still. So if you want to get access to some of that and want to know costs and availability, just email me at support@ryanlady.com. That's support@ryanlady.com. So, so there's that. I'm still waiting for this to load up. Other news, I will be going full-time into YouTube doing this stuff from August. So thank you to everyone who's been supporting me on Patreon, YouTube members, and everyone else who's been paying for one-to-one support. It's only with you guys and your support that I'm able to financially be able to do this full-time. So I'll finally take the bullet and we're going to be doing this full-time come August, which means a whole lot more cool stuff. There's been tons of things I wanted to do but couldn't because of time constraints and being forced to do this at night. As you can see, it is like middle of the night at the moment in UK. So it'd be really cool to finally get started with a lot of stuff that I've been pretty much sitting on until then. So again, thank you. It's only thanks to you guys that I'm able to actually do this venture and try and get to turn it into a full-time job, which is exciting. So things whilst we're loading up here, some things to expect when I do go full-time is more content, obviously, more live streams. The podcast will resume. So I did start a podcast, but I just literally time constraints to stop me from actually making it. Now I'll have the time to actually do it. So time constraints will actually be lifted from that. So that will hopefully be a weekly or bi-weekly podcast. We'll still work out the kinks for that. And there also will be a lot more availability in terms of one-to-ones. So I could do more one-to-ones and help more people out and be more available to help people out with their projects and so forth. But yeah, as a living, which is great. Just doing this now. Load up new project. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so hello everyone in chat. The way this works is if you have a question about Unreal Engine 4, game dev, or anything really, I don't really mind what you ask, put it into chat. If I don't catch your question, just put it in chat again and I'll try and catch it next time. It's not, I'm just picking them randomly as I see them, so I'll try and do as many as I can. If I don't have the answer to your question, I will tell you I don't have the answer to the question and I'll try and get back to you with a video or explanation next time I speak to you or whatever. So yeah, we're just waiting for question time. The thing to load up here. Why does it say Game Jam there? That's the old icon. I don't know why it does that. That's sort of like a must be like a must be on. I must have broken something there. We'll fix that at some point. A new Game Jam will be happening. People keep asking about it. It will be happening. Literally just trying to find the time to do it, set it up. So that's all. Whilst we're waiting for Unreal to load up, let's answer some questions that we can do without Unreal. So, Micah, have you had any experience with a new control rig? A little. I've had a look at it, messed about with a little bit of it. Just to see how it works, basically. Yeah, I have a little bit. Depends what you want to know about it in particular. I can answer something maybe, but I'll see. Hey Ryan, this is from Melacon. Hey Ryan, I was wondering if you can go through how to make the floating pawn movement component move forward and rotate a pawn. Okay, we can try and do that. This is going to load. Oh, what's it doing? Is it loaded? Yeah, there we go. Cool. Okay, let's jump into the scene here, and hopefully this looks okay. I haven't checked anything here. Let's turn down Spotify a bit because that's a bit loud for you guys there. Okay. So, the floating pawn thing. So let's just create a new pawn here that I can control, and show you some basic stuff for this. And it works basically the same as the character, because the character essentially is a type of pawn. It just has gravity and other things associated to it. So let's just give it a mesh. That'll do. And let's give it a capsule as well. I'll make the capsule the root. And we'll make this. I'll put a skeletal mesh in it actually. Skeletal mesh. And oh yeah, we only have the first person template, so I'm limited here. Capsule radius we'll do 32. Capsule half height we'll do 86, I think, something like that. And let's pull this down. Give it the old anim. And let's give it a camera. So this is a pawn, not a character. Okay, so even though it looks like the character, we're basically making a pawn version of it. Something like that. But then we want the floating pawn movement. So to add movement to this, it's essentially the same as anything else. You just do the input event, which is in this case move forwards, which is the default one that comes with this project, and then you just do add movement input. It's exactly the same. Plug that in there, and the world direction will be the actor forward vector, like that, and it'll make it go forwards. So if I'm going to tell this to be possessed by the player, if I drag this out here and tell this thing, oh hang on, to use controller rotation yaw first of all as well, and tell the possession, oh no, it's on this here, player 0, so I can play as it. We'll turn this one off. And let's see if that works. So now I'm possessing the pawn, and I'll push W to go forwards and S to go backwards. I can't look yet, I haven't added that code in, but it's exactly the same as the character movement. The downside it has is that it doesn't mimic walking sort of speeds and things like that. You have to set all that up manually. So you have to go in here and change the velocity, speeds and things like that. So if I change that to 600 here, we'll leave acceleration alone. Then we'll do the mouse movement. So look up, and say it's exactly the same. There's no difference to it. Add controller pitch input, and turn is add controller, controller your input. The only thing you have to make sure of is that on the self that you turn on use controller rotation yaw, so the thing rotates with the yaw of the controller, because that's what this is doing. It's changing the yaw of the controller. As long as you got that, you're okay. So I can't move right, but I should be able to look around like that. And I can move forwards based on which way I'm looking. Now looking up and down is locked, and the reason why it's locked is that you need to tell the camera, is it the camera? It might not be the camera. You want it to look separately. Yeah, use pawn control rotation. Turn that on. Hit play, and you can look up and down. So it moves exactly the same as any other character component, but this time with the pawn. Okay. Yeah. If you want to make it look exactly like it, you just drag the skeletal mesh to the camera, and the arms would follow the camera. Okay. I can't remember who asked it. Melicon. Hopefully that helps answer some questions. But that's how you do more food and rotated pawn. You just need to make sure that you've got the, if you're doing it by first person in this case, make sure you've got use pawn control rotation ticked on. And what that tells the camera to do is it will use the controller's rotation. Because what you're doing is when you are changing the rotation, when you're doing add controller your rotation and doing inputs on the controller mouse, you actually tell the controller to change its settings. The mannequin or the character or pawn will try and match the controller. You have to tell it what parts to match. So in this case, we're telling it here to match the controller's rotation in the yaw, so it turns that way. And then we've got the camera matching all rotations, so you can look up and down and so forth with it. You What Junior, do you know when the next episode of FPS RPG will be out for patrons? Hopefully this week. Been a bit delayed in being ill and other things, so hopefully it'll be out this week. You What Junior. Amran Ahmed, hey, anyway I can learn how to create a dedicated server to Unreal Engine 4 for something like an MMORPG game. Two things in there. First of all, if you want to learn about dedicated servers, you want to look up things like AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, and look at how that works. If you will need to access the C++ side of Unreal, download the source code, compile it, and then add the stuff to it. You can't do it via Blueprint. And you have to go through the side on Amazon Web Services to set that up. MMORPG, my advice to anyone that wants to make one, don't. It is the hardest thing to make. I would advise against it severely. Unless you are really strong in network programming, as well as game programming, then I would say no to it. I'd strongly advise not to do it. The amount of people I see come, even asking me or just saying, I see it in forums on Reddit, say, I want to make an MMORPG, where do I get started? You get started by not doing an MMORPG. You will not make that game. I guarantee it. They are damn hard to make. So please, for your own sanity, try not to make one. These game studios that make MMORPGs consist of hundreds of people and really experienced network programmers. So yeah, be very, just putting it out there. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying you shouldn't do it. Because I guarantee you won't get anywhere near a finished product. Okay. It just won't. You're better off making something that you know you will finish. Some random Nyko. I'm working on a Portal game at the moment and I'm having some problems. I can only make portals that have the same orientation, otherwise the camera angles don't line up. That would be correct. Portal stuff is damn difficult. You want to probably make sure the camera rotations are relative to their current actor's rotation, and then also add on the rotation that they should be adding onto. You're looking at something to do with relative locations to fix that issue. It depends on how you build it's hard to say for certain without seeing your code and how you're making the portals. Just realised the camera. Yeah, the camera's just laggy as crap, isn't it? It's not good, is it? I would put it on the actual capture card, but it cuts out after 30 minutes because of stupid EU laws. So, next question. Is it David E, is it possible to create sockets on a skeletal mesh and have those sockets attached to another object through blueprints? How a character grab onto a cart with both hands? Yeah. Yes, yeah. If what you'll do, you just how can I show this? Right, I'm gonna get rid of the pawn thing here and just put this character back on. So let's make something that you can pick up. So like you can have this attached to a socket on the mesh. That's not too difficult. Let me reread and make sure that's it. It's about to create sockets on a skeletal mesh and have those sockets attached to another object through blueprints. So right, what you're doing there, I think I understand what your question is. If you want the character to actually grab onto something, then you'll need to use IK placements. If you want to just attach the cart to the player's hands, you just do attach to. I won't make it, but you'll use the node such as like attach to component, and you'll put in the socket name there. That will attach the object to the skeletal mesh. Otherwise, yeah, you're looking at IK placement plus some other things maybe to get that to actually work. Some physics basically as well, maybe. I don't know. Depends on what's driving what. Do you want the cart to drive the player or the player to drive the cart? Yeah. Oh yeah, Sam Brett just mentioned it. Yeah. Use Virtual Bones and IK. Yeah, there you go. So what Sam Brett just said. I'm feeling better. Thank you, You Watch Junior. And your question is, what is your favourite style of game to make, and what would you recommend for new programmers? My favourite style of game to make. I don't really. I like. I don't know. I like puzzle box type stuff. I like doing that. There's nothing really specific. I like trying new stuff. I like trying to figure stuff out. I like learning new stuff. As with all you guys, I'm still learning stuff. I'm always learning new stuff all the time. There's so much to know. It's impossible to know it all. So I like stuff that is going to test me and push me and try out new things. What would I recommend for new programmers? Apart from starting off at my series, getting started making my own first game, I typically teach my students to make a maze game first of all. Then we do a spaceship shooter, making a spaceship go up and down, shoot bullets out, and then we do a platformer type stuff. That's usually the order we make games in when I teach my students. So something like that. But honestly, the very first thing you should make should be something really, really simple, and that's why maze games are really good, because maze games are equally simple, but you can add complex things to them. Like, for example, the series I go through is quite simple, shows you a couple of traps, but you can make quite complex traps, or you can add enemies to it. You can do all sorts of things to it. So it's quite good in that regard. So yeah, mazes are quite fun to make. If it's being saved, yeah, so this is saved. Patrons will have access to this saved recording immediately after the show. Everyone else will get it next week. Armoren, I love the honest response. I wouldn't even call it MMORPG, just a bunch of people walking around more social-like with a chat box to speak to each other. Is that equally difficult? Yeah, you're still dealing with dedicated servers, and you're still dealing with databases, the chat log, whether that will be stored in a database as well, I guess. Maybe. It's still not easy. I wouldn't recommend it for a brand new person. Yeah. What's your advice on a MOG multiplayer game? Approximately 10 players. Yeah, just do a listen server, play a save game state, such as Minecraft. Yeah, do that. Yeah, that'd be fine. The only time you really want to worry about dedicated servers is if you are concerned about fairness, that you want everyone to have equal access to the code, so no one's got a leg up on everything else. So dedicated servers then also don't are persistent. So if the game is constantly going on, then you need a dedicated server. Otherwise, you can start up a local server and people can just join your game and play games old school style, like the way we used to back in the day, when we used to play like Quake and things. So yeah, definitely possible. Yeah, no problem with that. Also, the benefit of having a dedicated server is typically the dedicated server has a better bandwidth. If you've got a good bandwidth, you can basically turn your computer into a dedicated server if you want it to. You just have to make sure you've got a fixed IP address for that. If you don't want to pay for a dedicated server, you can just have it at home. But be prepared, it will eat up your electric bill, eat up your internet bill, and you basically can't touch your PC, you have to just let it run. Jellerman plays. How would you make a grid handle assets for a city builder game? So I did something similar to in my building game tutorial series, which is still ongoing. I need to finish it. There is a node in here that you may want to get used to using, and that is snap to grid. So you can do vector snap to grid or float and snap to grid. These two will, as your name suggests, snap to a grid size, and that will allow you to do like a grid based sort of mimic type stuff. So you'll be using those based on what you want to do with it. I say check out my building series. You'll see me to place blocks like on a grid. It's the same thing as that, really. Or if you're doing like even like a full-on grid, you can spawn grid spaces dynamically at the start of the game, and when you click on each grid space, you can make it do stuff. There are two ways really about it. Chris, hey Ryan, in your tutorials, if I just need help with a specific aspects of the game, can we do this? And is it private? As I don't really want anyone to see, as it's not released, as I want to release it on the online platform. So Chris, if you want private tutorials, I do offer them. They do cost because time is money, unfortunately. If you want more information, you can find information on my website, ryan80.com, or you can email me at support@ryan80.com, and I'll give you the pricing, how long you get, when we can book it in, time zones, yada yada yada. But yeah, I do offer help, yes, like that. If you want help from me, for one-to-one wise, by all means. So Sam Bread's giving more great advice for new programmers. So that was, yeah, great advice there, Sam. So learn about object-oriented programming in general, and basic data structures, and just communicating. And there are a few things you should learn: inheritance, polymorphism, in that regard. So and these are all place of object-oriented programming. Read other code, see what it looks like. You can even take a look at this engine code and see what it looks like. Yeah, you can just start reading it. I'm at a level I can, no matter what the language is, I can read the code. I may not be able to write every single language, but I can definitely read every single language. So once you learn the basics, you can see patterns and you can understand it a bit better. But yeah, good advice there from Sam Bread. Well done. Vlad Aslav, hi Ryan, hope you can explain a simple Rither game like those dart arrow games in arcades. Yes. So I don't think we can make it quick enough, so I just have to explain it. So as the game sends these instructions down, when you tap you got a few ways to do about it. If you've got arrows coming down, for example, you can do collision checks whether or not the arrow is at a certain point when you hit the key for that button. If that button is on that shape, it will destroy it. I wonder if I can make a quick example. Oh man, I don't know if I can or not. it would be tight to try and make it in like 15 minutes. I'll tell you what, I won't make it now, but I'll try and make a video on it at some point in the future. But essentially what you have is, if you're doing 3D based like this in Unreal, you can do 3D based. You just send the objects that are the arrows down, and when you hit a key, it corresponds to like the net that catches it, and it turns it on. If it turns on for that split second whilst this arrow's in view of it, you'll destroy it, get points, and so forth. And that's basically all it is. If you're doing 2D based, or like Guitar Hero based as well, you have a button where you hold down the key. Guitar Hero, you hold down the key, it lights it up, but it doesn't actually activate it until you strum it, and then it'll do the same thing. If it's 2D, very similar. The difference is with 2D, I would use what would I do for 2D? I'll probably measure its position on the screen and look at whereabouts it is when I hit the key. That'd be like that. Next question. Eyes are glossing over. I should wear my glasses, really. Any idea how to do per vertex lighting like Silent Hill 1? Silent Hill 1? I need to look at Silent Hill 1. I ain't looked at Silent Hill 1 for ages. That surely didn't do anything crazy like that. Let's have a look. Silent Hill 1 doesn't have... But look at the screenshots I'm looking at. Doesn't have any lighting. It's all unlit. No, I don't see any shadows or anything like that. So for PS1, lighting would be pretty impressive. I mean, maybe it does. I don't know. I'm looking at screenshots for it, and does it? I'm gonna have to see it. Look, I haven't looked at Silent Hill 1 in years. I have no idea what it looks like anymore in motion. From the screenshot, it doesn't look like it's lit. But per vertex lighting, where's my chat? Who I can't remember who asked it now. When you have the flashlight near a wall, it shades based on the triangulation of the mesh. Right, does it? Okay, right. Let's see. I have to see videos of it moving. How would you do that nowadays? Yeah, because the hard part of that is that you've got, because we're used to using actual light systems rather than faking it with the vertex lighting. I guess. I don't know. How would you go about doing it now? I mean, you obviously can change the vertex color of stuff to do stuff like that, maybe. But any reason why you want to go with that particular method of lighting? Whilst I'm waiting for Adam to respond, let's see who else we got. Benilo, did I teach myself to code? Pretty much, yeah. I did study video game development at university, but that was so long ago in software and languages that don't exist anymore. So everything else is kind of doing it on my own, yeah. Adam's responded, so maybe vertex color material, but I don't know how to do it with Unreal. Yeah, see, I I don't know how you detect and change the vertices on. Trying to get an old school look in the engine you're comfortable with. Okay. Yeah, see, it's old school look because that was like a hacky way around doing lighting. So say lighting didn't really exist on PS1. They had to fake it with that stuff. It's not actually lighting, is it? It's doing something else. Let me have a look. I imagine it's something to do with the vertex colouring, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, hang on. There's okay. I found an example of it being used. But then how do you get work with a torch? I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to have a look at it. I can't say for certain. I'll have a look. I'll have to spend some time looking at it. You what, Junior? Can you make a shader for like how people do cartoon ones? Also, is there an easy way to make a Borderlands style shader that you can add to objects, make hand drawn look? So the Borderlands style shader using edge detection. I've got my outliner tool which does something similar. It's a lot of maths in a shader. I did do a PowerPoint to explain it. Hang on, let me find if we've still got the PowerPoint to explain how it works. Oh, man, I don't even know if I have it. Hang on. Let's have a look. Hang on, bear with me. See if I find it. Yeah, it involves doing a lot of maths in the shading thing. Hang on. Where the hell did I store it? I can't remember where I stored it now. Hang on. Probably be. Sorry, bear with me. I don't know where I've stored it. Ah, hang on. Yeah. Okay, so it's in there. No. Crap. Sorry, I know it's not very exciting, hang on. No, where's that then? Ah, there you go. So if I copy this folder, hang on. Copy that. And let's put it in. Where are we? Okay, just added it to here. So I made this outliner tool. Wait, are you from the UK? Yes, I am from the UK, from Essex. So I made this outliner tool with these outliner assets. So you can do outline tools. And the thing you're looking for is this one, I think. I know it'd be one of the functions. Hang on. This one. It might be get pixel depth. Yeah. Nope. Oh, where was it? Yeah, like essentially what you're doing, this one adds just outlining to it, but you can... No, it is here. So, oh crap, I can't remember any of this now. So, let me find the PowerPoint. I can explain it better there, maybe. How many years ago did I start working with Unreal Engine, by the way? About 4. Unreal. I've been doing about 4 years now. So this is the mathematic behind this whole entire process. It's called convolution. And what it does, it basically looks at the edge detection. So you have kernels, and these kernels do different patterns, like this pattern here. This is a Laplacian edge detection. And long story short, we look at a pixel and we multiply it by the kernel. So 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times 1 is 0, 0 times 0 is 0, and so on and so forth. So you multiply them together like that. And what you end up getting is you'll work out the edges. So this one just does edges around the edges around here. But what it's looking for is change. So it will look for change in the color of the pixel. So if you want to do like the toon edges that they do in Borderlands, it's something like this, but there are different patterns that do this. This one just does the full-on edge detection. But as you can see here, like when it's inside of itself, like here, so 1 times 0 equals 0, therefore becomes 0. And you do this on every single pixel. So it does this per pixel, does it for everything. And you end up getting a pattern out, which is basically, it makes the pixel that you want to be coloured 1 around the edges. So it does the outside edge of the whole entire shape. And here's when you increase the size of it, dilation. So you make it bigger and smaller. So you can make it a thicker line or a thinner line. But this essentially is what's going on underneath the hood. And yeah, I'm trying to find that in here. When we did it in here. So I think it's... No, it's not that. Where the hell is it? I have to go back through this. I haven't looked at this code for so long. I think it's this thing. Something around here somewhere. But yeah, anyway, yeah, it's around here. So there's the -4 bit going on. I see it's in the middle. Get pixel depth. So you get the pixel itself, -4 from the pixel. This is us going around the edges of the pixel. So it's going through that grid there. Going through these numbers here. So it's doing up, down, left, right, and the diagonals, and then it does the center one, and adds it all together, and you get the final result. And that then gives you the outline. So it's here. This is what we want. So you can see here, for example. So this is up and down, left and right. So this here, 1, 1, 1, 1. This is 1, 1. Well, up and down is 1 minus 1. So up 1 minus 1. So 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1. So up, down, left and right. And in the diagonals, it looks in 1, 1, which is that way. No, that way. Then that way, that way, that way, that way. And multiplies that together. And yeah, essentially that's what it is. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's not easy, but essentially how it works. Or you can just get it off the marketplace. There's a thing that does it on the marketplace. Anyway, let me get a drink. Benilo. Do you have any tips to remember what all the blueprints are called? I can't seem to make anything without looking it up. Then I go and do it again, but I forget. Yeah, I don't remember them all at all. And I'm pretty sure no one in Epic knows them all off by heart either. The way I do it, the way I handle it, and the way you should do it is if you want to say do any, like you think about keywords, okay? And you're using this context menu here. So I think about, okay, I want to do something about movement, okay? So I'll type in like move, and I'll see all the different things that have move in the title of them. They're called the thing for a reason. And if you want to know what it does, just hover your mouse over it and it'll tell you what it does. And then over time, you get used to which one you use regularly. And there's some in here that I've never used. Well, there's many in here I've never used before. But yeah, you just type in the keywords of what you want it to do and just read what it says. That's how you find out what nodes do what. There's no way to really remember it all, so don't try. Yeah. Chris, Ryan, your door series, can you show when you approach a key card or lock that you need to activate, can it display press E to open or pick up? Yeah, so that's a general, I'll show you my general setup for the Interact system, how I would do it. And I've done it in other videos as well, so you'll see this before. So if I make an interface in here, and this is my Interact interface. Here I'll have look at, and I'll also have interact with. So two functions that I'll use for this. So look at, you'll want to know who you're looking at and what component you're looking at. So on inputs here, we're going to go observer, we'll call it. And that'll be, in this case, a player character. So we'll do a first person character. And we'll also have the component that you're looking at, which may be useful if you want to do different parts of an object doing different things. So in here we'll look at a component, and it'll be an actor component, and we'll output on no, not output. Do we want to output anything? No, we can leave it like that. Leave it like that. Interact with, we'll have the interactor, which would be a first-person character again, because it's a bit of player. And hit compile. Then on the player character, we do a tick. And on the tick, you're constantly looking out, looking where the player's looking and detecting what they hit. So on here, you do a line trace. And the line trace is based upon their direction they're looking in. So you want to get the actor location. Plug that into the start. The end point will be the actor's forward vector. So which way they're looking, which is this. Not that way, sorry. It'd be the camera looking direction, sorry. So get the camera out. Get forward vector. And multiply it by the distance you want to look. So in this case, we'll do 500. And add that onto there to get the final endpoint. And I'm going to leave trace channel as visibility for now. And draw debug will do for 1 frame. Then on out here, I'm going to break that up. So I can see what I'm hitting. Let's just get this out of this corner here. And when you break the hit result, you'll get the hit actor and hit component. So first thing you want to do is check whether or not you actually hit something. So return value here will go to a branch. And you want to store what you're looking at, and so when you go to interact with it, you know what you're going to interact with. So hit actor is what you want to look at. So we're going to drag our hit actor out and do parameter variable, and we call this one look at actor. And that'll be set after true there. We then want to do the look at message, which is based on that interface we made. The target for this will be the look at actor. The observer will be this player character, so self. And the component is going to be this hit component here. If it's false and we haven't looked at anything, we're going to set that variable look at actor to nothing. So set it to blank. And we also want to make actually tell it to not look at something as well. So we'll tell we'll talk that in a minute. But for now we'll do that. Okay, so that'll be look at actor there. Then let's put something in the world. So this thing, we'll make this thing interactable. So in the class settings here, we'll add our interface. And you add this to anything you want to be able to look at and display a message or interact with. Like so. And then we want to make the UI for the message. So I'm going to make a new widget blueprint. Call it HUD. Why not? And in there, we'll make a simple message. So we'll put a simple text in there. And we'll put this into the center of the screen. So anchor it to the bottom there. The alignment, by the way, here, I see people not understand what alignment does. So alignment is where it measures the anchor from. So it's measuring all the time the position from the anchor. 0, 0 is the top left. 1, 1 is the bottom right. So if you want the center, it's 0.5 and 0.5. And to show you that it works that way, if I change position X, position Y to 0, it goes to center. So that's what you're doing there. So I'm going to change the justification of this to be centered like that. So the text appears in the center. And we're going to rise it up a little bit so it's not off the screen like that. Perfect. And this screen will have as display message text, and make that is variable. Because it's going to change in the game, you want to make it is variable. On the graph here, we're going to make a new function, and it's going to be display message. And display message is going to have a single input, which is going to be the message you want to display. And that'll be a text value. So we're going to change this to, well, first of all, we need to check if we are actually showing message or hiding message. And all we can do here is see if this is equal to nothing. So if it's equal to nothing in this branch, it's going to hide the message. So I'm going to take this display message by text and set visibility to hidden. If If it's false, meaning we have got a message, we're going to take the display message, set text, and we'll set text to the message. So just drag out here and search for message. And then we'll change the visibility of it to visible. If you've got animations, you play animations, so on and so forth. And it does that. So you've got this function here doing this. Then on the player character, we'll add the HUD onto it. Ideally, you should make it on the controller, but I haven't got a controller yet on here. To save time, we'll put it on here. So we're going to go and do a begin play, which is up here. Just disconnect all this stuff, this junk. Do create widget. Choose heads up display. Promote that to a variable. My HUD. I'll call it HUD. There you go. And add that to viewport. So on the tick down here, when you do the look at message here, you want to send actually over. Actually, no one send anything over. You might want to just do. You need to do a call somewhere to the HUD, and what you can do on that, on the item. So where have I put it? So on each item that you're going to do a look at, you want to show the message they have. You add the look at event. You get this. The observer has the HUD on it, so you can get the HUD and take it to display message. And we'll say the message here, press E to interact. Like that. Hit save. And then on our player character, to make that thing go away, when we do the look at, to clear the look at actor, you call the HUD. I'm rushing this, I know I'm rushing this, so I'm trying to explain it as quick as I can. We call it display message again, but leave that blank, so don't make it hidden. So if I drag this into the world now, we should make it a bit bigger. There you go, pushes interact. And when I look away, it hides it. Okay. Oh, made me jump. But there you go. Okay, and there's another one there. You see the line trace isn't exactly where I want it to be. So what you want to do with that line trace to improve that a bit, you get, where's the player character? You project or deproject, sorry, screen to world, and you get the screen position, which will be halfway, and you send the direction there instead of forward vector to that there. Okay, so you send that across instead of that way there to solve that problem. But there you go, that's the gist of it. You show message to hide message, and there's loads of ways of doing it. This is just one way. Then when you do the interact with, when I push the E key, for example, where's the E? There you go. So I have the E key. I'll get them a look at actor. Get, convert that to validated get. And if that is valid, you want to call look at actors interact with. An interactor will be self. And then on the actual object yourself, you determine what it happens when you interact with it. So we'll do interact with event, and we'll take it to destroy. Okay, so I'll go in there, push E, and away it goes. Up here again, just line it up better. There you go, push E, and away it goes. Okay. Junior, what are your thoughts on Unreal Engine 5 and the stuff it adds, such as the ability to use really high poly meshes, etc.? It's really exciting. It kind of it's exciting because it opens up a lot more in the sense of graphical capabilities. The not annoying side, well, just the nature of the beast of the industry is it changes the workflow of making assets for games completely. I've been thinking about how they're accomplishing it, and the only way I can see they can get away with infinite detail is if the thing doesn't move, maybe. But I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I don't know. But yeah, it's really exciting, really cool. I'm looking forward to trying it out at some point. They will. I guarantee you, all the stuff you see in Unreal Engine 4 will be mostly the same in Unreal Engine 5. So don't fret. You're not going to have to relearn everything from scratch. It'll be mostly the same. It seems like most of the fundamental changes are down to what's underneath the hood, like the rendering of it. And yeah, I guarantee it'll be free, like Unreal Engine 4. They're pretty much a sure thing it will be. M-Zone, hello again. Hi Ryan, just following your AI tutorial, hiding from the player. I was wondering how you could get the AI to run away from the player, but run to a specific hiding point in your map. I think you messaged me before about this, and I haven't responded to it. But you're using EQS, aren't you? To do that, well, one way of doing that is you can make a new querier. So, environmental query context. This you make as the object that you want to search for, and it can then query that object. So it can query the distance of that object, the location of that object. It can do all sorts of things with it. If you're using EQS, so this is used for EQS. Hopefully that helps you out. It gives you an idea of where to look. We're at the end now, so we're going to wrap up with a couple more questions, quick ones. Victor, will there be any more stats tutorials? For example, function for different stats. Stats in what way do you mean? Can you give me elaboration on what you mean by stats? Do you mean like things like health, mana, things like that, or something else completely? Quick question, for subtitles, do you recommend using the built-in system or creating a custom system? You can use a built-in one, I guess. I don't see why not. Up to you, really. Free choice. Like, if you want to do Sim 1, you can do Sim 1. Yeah, free choice. But then I don't see any reason why you couldn't use the one that's built in. Hi Ryan from Xtraco. I've simulated physics actor, a grenade, but at a random it transports objects, including landscape, completely random. Any idea to how to solve? It transports what? It transports the landscape. You have some dangerous code in that somewhere. That sounds like a bug in your code. It shouldn't do that. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that one. Oh, tributes on equipment like health and mana. At some point, yeah. As the later on in the year when I go full time, one of the things you can expect to see is a rework and redo of my equipment system series. That was a series that I'm not happy with at all. There's a load of editing issues with it, load of problems with it, where I cut bits out by accident, and it was when I stopped and started a project quite a few times over a long period of time. I'm not happy with it at all, and there's a far better way of doing it, and I would like to make a video series on that, so I'll make it part of that. I've also got something similar like that also on my FPS RPG series on Patreon. So there will be more stuff on that at some point. Don't know when though. Fabio, in behavior trees, focus on player character. How can I make my AI rotate very slowly toward the player? Very slow, zombie-like. All my AIs practically snap to the player's rotation. So, on the character for the zombie, there you probably have this set up. Use controller rotation yaw. That means it's going to rotate according to the rotation of the yaw of the controller. So it will snap to it basically. You want to turn that off, I believe, and then you go down to the rotation of the character movement component. and you want to orient rotation to movement, and that will rotate them based on which way they're moving, and change this change the Z value here to be slower, and it'll make it go slower. So use orient rotation to movement and turn off this use controller rotation yaw. Probably that's on by default for characters, so you probably have that. Vlad, will the Guitar Hero tutorial be on YouTube or later on first Patreon? It will. All my videos are on Patreon first. So Patreon members will get videos months ahead of time. As I say, it will be a series I will make at some point. No idea when. I'll put it in the poll for next month, for tomorrow, and if people vote for it, because every month I do a poll on my Patreon and YouTube members for people who donate $5 or more. They get the poll, and they can vote on the video. So this month they've done ladders. So I'll add it to the poll for tomorrow, and if they vote for it, I'll make it this month for Patreon members. But yeah. You can get Patreon for only $1. Yes, Patreon is from $1 a month. It's not even £1, it's $1, I believe. And that gets you access to all the videos before anyone else. Like I say, months ahead of time. Yeah. Oh, there's loads of videos on there, and many more to come. I've got a whiteboard over here filled with more stuff that I need to put on there. Oh, I almost broke my headphones. So yeah, over here I've got a whiteboard with a list of videos I'm making at the moment. So yeah, there's even more stuff coming out, and I'll spend it all day tomorrow and all day Friday making content for Patreon. So yeah, busy. Anyway, that brings us to the end of tonight's question time. And it also does help me out. Thank you. Yes, it does help me out massively, especially as I'm going full time. I do have a family to feed and bills to pay, so it really does help me out. So thank you. Thank you to everyone who does support me, and that's how we end it today. We'll say thank you to all my Patreon members, all YouTube members for their continued support. As I said, it's really amazing, and it has allowed me to do this full time, which means I can do this because I really enjoyed doing this, and I want to do more of it. And it has enabled me to do so. So thank you to do that, and I'll promise to help you guys out with more stuff, more content. Every Wednesday we do this question time, so if you didn't get your question answered, come back next Wednesday, we'll do it again. On Saturday we're also live again on Saturday, and I think we'll be going back to our Zelda game on Saturday. So if you want to see me work on the Zelda game, come back on Saturday for that live stream. That is at 11 PM BST, British Summer Time. Again, if you want one-to-one support or want me to work on your project somewhat, let me know by email, support@ryanA.com, and I'll let you know prices and things like that. So yeah, check it out, and that's it for me. I'm gonna go get some sleep. I am exhausted. So thank you again, everyone, for watching. Really enjoyed this tonight. So thank you again, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.